On this, Amir Oren joins us now live from Tel Aviv. He's a columnist at Haaretz. Great to have you on the program. Amir, why is Benjamin Netanyahu not listening to the US, not listening to the voice of the streets there from these protesters, not listening to anyone, it seems?
So in your report, you have called it or quoted him, calling it a judicial overhaul. You don't overhaul your car during the journey by throwing out the engine and the wheels. Netanyahu himself is facing a judicial or legal battle because he is obviously standing trial for corruption. And he wants to have the power to fire the Attorney General, appoint someone else who may withdraw or lessen the charges against him. In addition to that, he is beholden to his right-wing coalition partners. If they withdraw their support for him, the government will fall and he will face those charges in court without the mantle of prime minister. So he has an incentive to go ahead with it. But as you mentioned, he is opposed not only by the Biden administration, but also by hundreds of thousands of resisting Israelis.
And we've been seeing these pictures now, these protests for months. Just how powerful are these protesters? Because we know that some part of it is also people from reservists from Israel's military, the backbone, of course, of Israel's military. But now it appears to be there's an addition, which is also reservists from Israel's Shin Bet domestic security agency and Mossad, also saying that they would join these protests. Is that what you're hearing as well? And if that's true, does that make any difference to Benjamin Netanyahu?
Yes, indeed, but not necessarily Shin Bet or Mossad, of course. When you mention these agencies, which are the equivalent to Turkey's MIT, they sound sexier. But the real problem Netanyahu has is with the Air Force pilots, navigators, and other air crew, because the reserve in the Air Force is the backbone of the strategic arm of the Israeli Defense Forces. And if they stop volunteering for duty because they don't have to serve, they commit on their own volition, and they threaten that if this legislation passes through, they will stop volunteering for service. And that not only will substantially reduce Israel's military power, but will also perhaps encourage Israel's enemies to attack it. So Netanyahu, if he has any shred of responsibility left, will take heed and will, at the last moment, stop this legislation.
Amir, talk to us a bit more about what the US has said. Of course, the US provides billions in aid to Israel's army. And it's just said it urges the Israeli government to respect peaceful protests, to find a genuine compromise. That's what I'm hearing. Those aren't really strong words. Could the White House, could Biden go even further?
Yes, that's very true. President Biden has not minced words, showing his disappointment with Netanyahu's performance. But what sort of leverage does the United States have in the short run over Israel? All the military aid contracts have been signed. There is legislation approving almost $4 billion a year in military aid to Israel. What Biden can do and has been doing is refraining from inviting Netanyahu to the White House, which is one ticket which Netanyahu avidly seeks. But if he does not go back on these anti-democratic moves, there is no prospect of Biden being gentler towards him.
Amir, really great to speak to you. Amir Oren joining us there from Tel Aviv, columnist at Haaretz. Thank you.